What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Nichols' YouTube channel. Now, before we get to Eric's interview, this is the deck list that he used to get top 8 at Michigan State, and as he is another Yveltal Garbodor deck. And this time around, he included 2 Enhanced Hammer in his deck, and of course, we talked about that. And he decided to play the 1 Switch instead of Escape Rope, and he played Zerosic too. But hopefully, you enjoyed the interview, and thanks for watching. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Nichols' YouTube channel. Today, we're doing another States question answer video with Eric. And Eric, where are you from?
I'm from New York City.
Okay, and what states are we talking about?
So I played in 4 states, but I only did well in 1, and I did well in Michigan. So we're talking about that.
Okay, so how'd you end up doing a Swiss?
On Swiss, I went 6-1-1, and I finished in 5th place, I think, and then I lost to top 8.
Okay,
So lots of fun.
alright. So, what were the decks that you played against in Swiss?
So I played against 3 Flareons, 1 Seismitoad, like only Juniper, only item card deck. I don't know what it's called. I don't want to say like. It's like Seismitoad Garbodor, but it wasn't Garbodor. It was Seismitoad Jinx. There we go.
Okay,
I played against 2 Yveltals, and then that's 6 decks. And I can't remember the rest, but it was a lot of Flareon and a lot of Mare.
and what was the deck that you lost to?
I lost to the Yveltal Garbodor in top 8. I lost on some pretty bad luck. So.
Okay. So, what ended up happening in top 8, though?
So I played against Chris Szymanski, and I found out afterwards that he got his invite off of the win in top 4 or top 8. So good for him. And so game 1, he goes first. I think I don't think it really mattered who went first, but we both started Toad, and he flipped tails. I flipped heads, tails on a laser. Or he flipped heads, I flipped tails on a laser. So I lost the Quaking Punch War, so I was really behind. So I scooped after like a couple turns because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to win that because he had items I didn't. And then game 2, I was really far ahead. He was dead drawing, and I just needed an energy off of 2 turns in a row. I think I Junipered for 7 and I Colors for 8. I just needed a dark energy both times, and I whiffed, and he was able to come back and win. So I was pretty salty.
Okay, well, I mean, still top 8. Congratulations, that's very good.
Yeah, I wish I could have gone farther. I've lost in every single tournament that I've made top cut in this year. I've lost in top 8, so I have like some curse.
Yeah. Well,
Brutal.
what were you gonna say?
No, the curse is just brutal. I wish I could just win in top 8 for once.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have any funny stories about Swiss? I know before this we were talking about some stuff.
Yeah, so I actually decked 2 of my opponents out. It was pretty funny in Swiss. I played against 3 people from Canada, actually, and 2 of them I was able to deck them out. So the first one, I played against Zach Lesage in round 4, I think, and he was playing Toad Puff with a Flareon Leafeon line, and he discarded his, game 1, he discarded his trump card early on, and I just trainer locked him the rest of the game, so he never had an option to like VS Seeker, and he got rid of his last VS Seeker during like the trainer lock. So like he just kept on drawing with Slurpuff, and he thought he had a VS Seeker left, and we both realized it. It was like, oh, okay, so you can't win. So we just went to game 2 because I decked him out, which was pretty funny, and then I actually ended up losing that round. It was my only loss in Swiss, which is also kind of funny. And then in the last round, it was the win and in. I played against Andrew Estrada, our world champion, and we were playing Yveltal Mare. So he was actually going to win. He had, I don't remember exactly what it was, but he had like the perfect Yveltal math against me or something, and he decided to play a bike for some reason. I don't know why. And then he ended himself, and then he realized after he ended that because he played that bike, he decked himself out. I thought that was pretty funny because I would have lost. And we were playing really slowly, so we only got through that 1 game. So that just ended up giving me the win and on top cut. So I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I would be too. Well, so why did you decide to play Yveltal Toad Gar for the tournament?
So I was in Indiana over my spring break because I'm from New York City, so going to Michigan is kind of weird. It's not really expected. But I was in Indiana because I'm a part of Team Hovercats, and I was staying with Travis Nunless for the week. So we were testing a bunch of decks. He was really high on Toad Back or Toad Ninetales, And I just didn't really like playing either of those. I'm not a huge fan of Toad-based decks. I think they're just not good for the game. So I was pretty set on playing Yveltal, and the deck is just really strong. Like, it's probably the best deck in the format. It doesn't really have any bad matchups aside for like Manectric and Kyogre. It can even beat those. It's just really a good deck overall, and I felt comfortable with it. I've played it basically the entire year, so I just thought it was the best play for the meta, and I didn't face any Manectric or Kyogre. So,
Now, I know most of us are playing like two escape ropes or two switch. Why did you decide just to play the one switch?
um, it was really just a space thing. I never felt myself. I never thought like I needed more than one switch. I also play two Floatstone with Garbodor, so like I have other switching options plus Darkrai. So one switch was fine. Escape rope, switch over escape rope was just a preference. I'm not a fan of escape rope personally in dark decks with laser. So
Okay. Now, you did play the two enhanced hammer and the one Zerosic. Did you ever wish for like another Zerosic or a third enhanced hammer?
so I didn't expect Toad to be as big as it was. So enhanced hammers were actually kind of useless. They did help me in the Flareon matchups, but I ended up cutting those in the later weeks, and I don't regret it. I did want a second Zerosic. I think Zerosic was probably the best card that I played. In Michigan, it won me a bunch of games, but I never actually ended up putting in a second Zerosic. I ended up putting in Pokemon Center Lady at one point. I had what else? I had a Keldeo in there at one point for the mirror match and for Toad. Yeah, I put in a lot of different cards to try them out, and I thought they were all good. Oh, I put in an AZ at one point as well. So I think Enhancer was good for what I thought the meta was going to be, which was not a lot of Toad, but there was a lot of Toad. So it didn't really end up helping as much as I wanted to. So yeah, I definitely would have liked another Zerosic, which I decided not to play another one for some reason.
Okay. Now, you talk about changes to your deck. What are some changes you would make to this list?
So yeah, definitely I would drop the enhanced hammers. They're not really good in a Toad heavy meta. Um, I would put in a Pokemon Center Lady. Keldeo is really helpful as well, especially since you also play Floatstone. So in the matches that you don't need Garbodor, you have a free Keldeo Floatstone, and you don't need to drop an energy on it. And AZ is something that I actually really liked. My friend Tristan Masick and Edwin Lopez, excuse me, they recommended it to me. They've also been telling me to play Yveltal without Garbodor, which I don't think is as good. But AZ has been really helpful, especially against like Dats decks and Landorus. So those are the changes I would make. I would just drop the Enhanced Hammers. They were useless. So.
Okay. Now, you talked about that you wanted to play the Garbodor. Why do you choose to play Garbodor over not Garbodor?
So my friends keep on telling me not to play it because they think it's not that helpful versus a lot of matchups. I think it is helpful against like some shaky matchups like Flareon and Night March, and I think in those matchups it really helps secures it. And in my area, they were pretty big, like New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York is where I played my three state championships after Michigan. So those were some pretty big decks in that area, and I think Garbodor really helps those matchups out. They are right that it definitely hurts my Yveltal mirror match and like matchups against Manectric and Kyogre and all of those matchups, but I already lose those matchups anyways. And I felt comfortable in the mirror match anyways because I played Keldeo and I won all my mirror matches in Michigan besides for Top Cut. So I felt comfortable giving up like consistency in the mirror match that they would have if they didn't play Garbodor and my auto losses, which I lost to anyways, for slightly better matches against Flareon and Night March and just compressor decks.
Okay. So, how many championship points are you currently?
So I'm at 224. I really did poorly the rest of the states, so I had an opportunity to get my invite off of the next three state championships, but I got top 32 at Pennsylvania, and then I bombed New York, and then I lost my win and in like round. No, I lost my win and in the last round, and then I played Kyogre another round. So I'm sitting in a decent spot for my invite. If I can get to 250 before nationals, hopefully I can get top 128, which is too difficult, and get my invite. But 224 isn't a great place to be at right now. I'd love to be a little bit higher. So.
Okay. So, are you going to enter regionals coming up here?
Yeah, so I'm going to Massachusetts regionals, and I'm considering going to Wisconsin regionals to go hang out with all my Team Hovercats friends. but I haven't decided on that yet. So.
Okay. So I know the regionals is a month ahead, and we're not talking about Wisconsin. We're talking about Massachusetts. Are you thinking about switching decks, or you think Dark Yveltal Garb is still good play?
I think I said on your podcast that I was going to be playing Yveltal for the rest of the format, so I got to stick with it. I think it's still the best deck,
Okay.
even though there's a lot of failure now, but I think it's really good.
Well, do you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Yeah, so shout out to Team Hovercats, TM, and especially Travis Nunlist. He tested me a lot. He let me stay at his house while I was in Indiana. He smells, but he's a cool dude. Shout outs to everyone in New York City: Tristan Nasik, Edwin Lopez, Angel Miranda, Peter Kika. Oh, geez, just a lot of people. Christian Ortiz, even though he's in Virginia now, Jared Morales, Noel Cabrera for topping Florida Regionals with Empoleon. Who would have thought that? Oh
He was
man,
actually one of my lost.
well, he was your loss,
Yeah.
really? That's really funny. Oh wow, that guy is crazy. I love him. He's so funny. Um, Mike Newey, Jason Anacarrico, Frank Diaz, bunch of people. So I'm sure I'm forgetting some people, but yeah, I'll shout out those guys for now.
Just everybody, basically.
Yeah, everyone. I shout out everyone in Burbank. I love you, Burbank. Oh, and shout out to the thread that will never die on Burbank.
Okay, man. Well, thank you so much for doing this, and good luck at regionals.
Awesome. Thanks, Wiki.
Alrighty, bye.